The Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is only a couple of months away, and not only do we have some dummy images to look at, but we also have some specs that I want to get into as well. The S23 Ultra has got to be the phone that I'm most excited about in 2023, since the S22 Ultra is the phone that got me to switch to Android, and it's ultimately the phone that got me to make this YouTube channel. I owe a lot to the S22 Ultra. It was such an amazing phone, and while it still is, I'm just thankful that we have something so close to look forward to in the new year. Anyways, before we dive in, a like and a sub to the channel would go a really long way. We are very close to hitting 11,000 subscribers, so if we could smash that before the end of the year, I would really appreciate that. Anyways, according to the TENAA, the TENAA certification, despite being a couple of months away from launch, the S23 Ultra's display, processor, camera, and battery capacity have been confirmed. The Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra will have 4 rear cameras, a 200 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto, and a 10 megapixel 10x telephoto. According to this certification though, it claims that the images from the 10 megapixel sensors are going to be upscaled to 12 megapixels. I'm very curious as to how that's going to look, though, given how good AI in smartphones have become, especially how good Samsung's AI image processing has become over the years. I'm sure it's going to be good, but I'm just confused as to why they're doing image upscaling. I understand binning image sensors, like going from 200 megapixels down to a 50 image shot, but going from 10 to 12 is just really weird. Though one thing is for certain, and this is going to be a very stacked and versatile camera lineup, so it's gonna definitely be an S22 Ultra successor. One thing that I'm very excited to say though is that this phone is gonna be launching globally without an Exynos variant, so thank God. Meaning that it's gonna be shipping with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This is Qualcomm's newest chip, and it's the best chip right now inside of Android flagships, so it's really nice to see. Hopefully the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 does really well inside of the S23 Ultra when it comes to efficiency, because the S23 Ultra does have a 5000 mAh battery just like the S22 Ultra. In my personal experience when it comes to the S22 Ultra, I wasn't really having the best battery life, and I think that's the general consensus I've seen from the public. Now, I love the phone, and I think a lot of people did, and that's the only real fault that I had with that phone. There were some days where I genuinely wasn't getting anywhere above 4.5 hours of screen on time. The only thing that we really needed out of the S22 Ultra was a more efficient chip. I think if that phone launched with the 8 Plus Gen 1, it would have been a way better device right out of the get-go. So I'm just glad that we're getting a new chip inside of this phone, because I really think that this could be one of the best flagships to come out of 2023, and it's going to be one of the first. So this year is going to be a really interesting year for flagships, and I'm just really excited for this phone. And when it came to the 8 Plus Gen 1, on the Fold 4 for example, I was actually getting about 7 to 7.5 hours of screen on time, and I was pushing that phone a lot more because I was actually multitasking on it and pushing that phone a lot. So getting 7.5 hours of screen on time, especially with that bigger display and a smaller battery, really goes to show you how much big of a difference having a more efficient chip inside of a phone makes. So I'm just really excited to see what this chip is going to do for the S23 Ultra, because I think it's going to make a world of a difference, and it's going to just mean a lot for the S23 Ultra. Unfortunately though, Samsung is still going to be offering an 8GB variant with the base model 256GB version of this phone. I think that it's honestly quite silly for this price point, because it just doesn't really make any sense. This is not something that I stood by or really understood at all when it came to the S22 Ultra, and it really makes a huge difference in the market, and it makes the experience very different. The jump between the 8GB and 12GB variants of the phones is huge. Like, your suspended applications will get forced closed over time, and your background tasks are just ended. It just makes the experience on the phone a little less seamless, and for the price that you're paying, I just don't understand why this exists just because you chose to get a little bit less storage on the phone. You're paying nearly the same amount anyway. I feel like this just creates a lot of confusion in the market, and for people that don't necessarily know what they're buying into, it just creates a lot of problems later on down the road. And you know, it gives people a different experience and something to complain about. And like I said, I just can't imagine this costing Samsung much more, if anything at all, to change. I don't understand why this is there in the first place, and I feel like this is the first thing that needs to get axed on the next iteration of the phone. I feel like this is obviously too late to fix now, but when it comes to the S24 Ultra, this has to go. I don't think there's any other phone manufacturer right now, at least in North America, that does this. And even on their Fold, they don't do this. I can't imagine on a $2,000 phone like the Fold, if they offered a lower end version with less RAM, I don't think that would settle well. And the S23 Ultra, the S22 Ultra in Canada is a $1,700 phone. I don't know how they get a pass on that. Anyway, the design of the S23 Ultra is going to be pretty much the same as the S22 Ultra, but I'm glad. I actually think Samsung nailed it this year with the S22 Ultra, and I'm glad they're having some cohesion in their smartphones. This is nice for a change. I know we all dish on Apple for having the same design year over year, but it's nice to see Samsung having this cohesion with their flagships, because every single year it feels like there's this huge shift in their design language, and it's very, very hard to tell which phone is which. But Samsung's flagships just started to have their brand identity. They're sleek, they have large cameras, flatter top with curved edges, and they just catch the eye. The S22 Ultra really took that home, and I think it's one of the most premium smartphones I've seen come out of 2022. And in person, it looks pretty damn futuristic with that large 6.8-inch display going nearly edge to edge. Keeping this was a smart move, so it's no surprise they started to mimic this design language in their S23 lineup of phones. If you look at the S23 dummies that have leaked, you can see that we no longer have the camera bump from the S22 or S21 series of phones. It's a flat back and more akin to the Ultra. The only real difference is that the edges are flatter and that the corners are rounded. However, looking at the phones, you can tell that they're really in the same family. I've seen some takes in videos or some tweets of people saying that they look either really ugly or look really nice, of people just either being on opposite ends of the spectrum. I think they look really nice, and I actually think like Samsung has kind of perfected this look, and I'm really glad. I would love to know what you guys think about the design with these. Obviously, these are just dummies, so they don't have like the two-tone colors yet, nor do they have any logos on the back or really anything perfected or finished with the design. This is kind of just the shape of the phone, but I would like to know what you all think about how it looks. I'm just curious to know whether or not the S23 Ultra is going to be enough to take me away from the Fold 4. I mean, I just know the S22 Ultra has a huge cult following amongst Android fans, but the Fold 4 really surprised us this year, and it surprised me. I mean, I bought the phone honestly knowing that I was gonna hate it. Like, I made a video, don't buy the Fold 4, trashing on it because I thought it was gonna be a very similar experience to the Fold 3, a phone that I had a terrible time with. And literally after the first couple of days with the Fold 4, it was my phone of the year. I made countless videos on it, and it has just been the best experience that I've had with a Samsung flagship, let alone any phone that I've used. Will the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra dethrone that for me? I'm not sure, but to be honest, I want a slab phone, or really any phone, to dethrone the Fold, because I feel like I'm stuck in a foldable rut. Right now I'm looking at the Find N2 or the Huawei Mix Fold or whatever, and the Honor V Magic, whatever it's called. I want to import another foldable because I want something else to talk about on this channel or use, because there's nothing else right now that's available in North America, and I want something interesting to make content on, but I can't get my hands on anything. So I just need something exciting to bring to the channel. I just really hope the S23 Ultra does it for me, because man, the fold has to go. I can only make so many videos about the fold before I talk about literally everything. But that being said, I'm gonna give the S23 Ultra a fair shot when it comes in, because I really want to use that phone. I'm gonna daily drive it, and that will probably be my phone for the foreseeable future until probably the Pixel Fold comes out or another foldable comes out, and I will see how it goes. So anyways, that's been it. Let me know what you think about the dummies, about the leaks, about the S23 Ultra, about literally anything that we talked about in this video down below. The next time I will see you all is after Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub to the channel down below while you're here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.